Hi, everybody. Well, here we are to talk about the IEW mini reports. And this is starting in Lesson 11 in Intensive A. And I believe it starts in Lesson 11 in Intensive B as well. We are going to be using Intensive A material to do our work today. And what this lesson starts with is some talk about topic and clincher sentences, because that's where we start to get the basis of our information. Okay, so we are going to flip over to a little help to see what I'm talking about with topic and clincher sentences. Okay, so what we've got right here is a just a diagram of what a paragraph might look like. Okay, your first sentence here is your topic sentence. Okay, after that they're showing us 5 sentences. Okay, disregard the 1 right there. I'm not quite sure why it's doing our numbering like this, but it is. Okay, so you've got a sentence. Your first sentence is the topic sentence, and maybe it says whooping cranes are beautiful birds. Okay, your next sentence, before 1 year they are rust colored, but as adults become pure white with black tipped wings. Okay, and then you've got your second sentence, your third, your fourth, fifth, and then all of a sudden we're at the end of our paragraph. We've got 1 sentence left, and it says whoopers are majestic in appearance. Huh. Okay, so our first sentence was whoopers are, sorry, whooping cranes are beautiful birds. Our last sentence is whoopers are majestic in appearance. Okay, now what we're looking for are 2 to 3 keywords that repeat or reflect one another between that topic sentence and our clincher sentence. Okay, this is our topic, and this was our clincher. Okay, what words are we seeing that are repeating or reflecting one another? Well, I see whooping and whoopers. Okay, and you might choose to underline whooping cranes here instead of just whooping. Another word that I see is beautiful, and the way that might be repeated or reflected is majestic. Beautiful and majestic are what I would consider synonyms, or 2 words that have similar meaning. Okay, so that's what you're looking for. Words that repeat each other or that reflect similar meaning. Okay, so we've got whooping cranes and whoopers, beautiful and majestic. Those are, again, our topic or first sentence and our clincher or last sentence. All right. Now, why is this important to us? Because we are going to be using those topic and clincher sentences and their 2 to 3 keywords to figure out what information we have to work with to write a report. And in Intensive A, we've got mini books on whooping cranes. Okay, the pages came like this. Okay, and it says B4A in the top of this guy, and you know that this is the title page because it's got the title whooping cranes on it. Okay, so go ahead and fold your pages so that you've got whooping cranes is B4A. B4B is captive whoopers fail. Scary stuff. And B4C is adaptive parents. Okay? We're going to start with A. And we kind of actually just did that because our first sentence there, our topic sentence, is whooping cranes are beautiful birds. Sounds just like an example I got done giving. And our clincher sentence is whoopers are majestic in appearance. Okay? I don't read backwards all that great. So what we did was I underlined two of our repeating and reflecting words, and I will underline them again. Okay? So now I've also got beautiful underlined, and I've got majestic underlined. You can use a highlighter too, that works great. Okay? So if I had to guess what the title of this paragraph was just from my topic and clincher sentences, well, I know that my whole booklet is about whooping cranes because that's the title. All right, so I'm probably not going to pick that, but beautiful and majestic is talking about the appearance of the whooping crane. Okay, so I would probably pick either beauty or appearance for my topic of what the paragraph is about. Why does it matter? Because if I'm trying to find information to write a report, I want to know what's in each paragraph. Okay? All right, so I'm going to continue to go through all of Book A and figure out what words are repeating and reflecting in Book A so that I can figure out what my topic and clincher, what my topics are to choose from. Okay? Then I'm going to do the same thing with Book B. All right? So the first sentence in B, the crane's diet is related to the wetland habitat. The last sentence, draining the marshes, humans endangered the habitat and food supply of the whoopers. Okay, so I'm going to guess that crane and whoopers, repeat and reflect. Diet and food supply sound like similar things to me. And wetland habitat, I'm going to pick habitat and habitat. Okay, so now I've got cranes and whoopers, diet right there, and food, and then I've also got habitat and habitat. Okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that the topic of this first, this is C, the topic of this first paragraph has to do with habitat, okay, because that was the closest match of any of them, all right, and they go on to talk about swampy areas and parks and that kind of thing, okay. Let's jump back to B. All right. Whoopers are dancers. Who knew, right? Whoopers love dancing. The bottom sentence, or the clincher sentence. So I'm going to underline whoopers and dancers and whoopers and dancing for in our topic and clincher sentences in Book B, captive whoopers fail. Okay, so I think that first paragraph happens to be about dancing. All right. So imagine that I have then gone through all three of those books and I have figured out what each of the topic and clincher sentences keywords are. I am then going to be able to make a list of what all of the topics are for booklet A. All right, so we have beauty, we have habitat, we have extinct, conservation, and parenting. Okay? In book B, our topic sentences, or our paragraphs are about, the first paragraph is about dancing. The second paragraph is about parenting. The third paragraph, sound. Number 4 is extinction. And number 5 is conservation. Okay? And again, how am I getting that? I'm looking at each of those paragraphs at the first sentence and the last sentence and deciding which words are repeating or reflecting, and using that to figure out what the topic is of my sentence. Okay? In booklet C, my first one we talked about discusses habitat. The second paragraph discusses conservation. Now, the third and fourth paragraph are kind of related. The first one is talking about mixed family, okay? And, excuse me, the third paragraph is talking about mixed family. The fourth paragraph is talking about adopted chicks, all right? That one's a little confusing. And then our fifth paragraph is about extinction, okay? So we just made this list of what each of those paragraphs has information on. So that tells me that I've got a lot of great information now to be able to decide what I want to write my report on. And this page has actually already done it. Moms, if you're watching as well, this page is in your notes and is page 66 in the binder pages that you should be keeping. Okay, so where do we have information that's crossing over? Okay, well, I heard habitat more than once, and I see that habitat is in booklet A, and oh, that first paragraph over in C is talking about habitat as well. So there's a line in between those to remind me that I've got some information in 2 different paragraphs regarding habitat. Do I see beauty anywhere else here? I see dancing, but I'm not seeing beauty or appearance anywhere else. So there might not be enough information for me to really do a multiple paragraph report on that. Okay. My next one is extinct. Okay. Well, in B, I've got extinction, pretty important. And over here in C, I've got extinction again. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and connect the dots on those guys, because that's 3 paragraphs of information that I can select from to write my report. Conservation. Interesting. In booklet B, we've got conservation as well. And in booklet C, we have conservation. Okay, so again, 3 paragraphs worth of information about conservation. All right, our last paragraph in A is parenting. Oh, in booklet B, we've got parenting as well. That might be a help. And in C, we don't quite have parenting. They talk about mixed families and adopted chicks. So kind of like the parents flew the nest. All right. I may not choose that one because it doesn't seem like there's quite as much information that's going to cross over on those. Okay. So now I need to pick a topic for my report. Okay. Have we all kind of caught on at this point that we are doing this background information so we can figure out what we have the most material on to write a report? Okay. And can we use this type of style to go about writing reports in other classes? Yes. Yes, you can. Okay. They may not all be as easily laid out for you. As a matter of fact, they probably won't be. Okay. But that doesn't mean you can't choose this type of method to go through and figure out what you're going to work on. Okay. So what do we want to pick? Since it's the first one right here, I'm going to pick habitat. All right. And I know in booklet A and paragraph number 2, okay, it's going to talk about habitat. So Paragraph number 2, parents protect the nest and later the young. Our clincher was normally failure to raise the young arises from natural disasters rather than poor parenting. Okay, so parents and parenting. Young and I'm in B. That's why this doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. Let's try again. Hey, usually whooping cranes migrate to find a habitat which is swampy or marshy. That makes so much more sense. And then the bottom of that one is both their summer and winter habitats are wetlands. Okay, so let's see. Habitat and swampy or marshy is the same as wetlands. And habitats and wetlands. Okay, so that's what I've got there. So if I'm going to write a report about habitats, what do I find interesting about this? Okay, so usually whooping cranes migrate to find a habitat which is swampy or marshy. They spend their summer in the Wood Buffalo National Park, which is located on the northern Alberta border with the Northwest Territories in Canada. Migrating south in the autumn, whoopers winter in the Aransas. I'm pretty sure they mean Arkansas Refuge, another marsh along the coast of Texas. Nope, along the coast of Texas in the United States. So it may or may not be Arkansas. In the spring, they fly 4,000 kilometers back to Wood Buffalo. Both their summer and winter habitats are wetlands. Okay, so I know that they really like water because that's where they're migrating to and from. So I've got that on habitat there, and then book C, the first one, the first paragraph, I'm in book C, first paragraph is talking about habitat. The crane's diet is related to the wetland habitat. In the swampy regions, they search for small juicy plants, insects, frogs, and worms. While in the Aransas Refuge, they usually feed on clams and crabs. At Wood Buffalo National Park, they hunt for small fish, snakes, and the eggs of other water animals and birds. Unbelievably, one whooper ate 800 grasshoppers in 75 minutes. Humans once avoided wetlands. They were safe. Man changed during the draining the marshes. Humans endangered the habitat and food supply of the whoopers. Okay, so that one's telling me how the wetlands have changed a little bit. It's also telling me more about what the whoopers eat and where they live, how that is changing as well. So I am going to be needing to write a report. So now it's time for me to look at my paragraphs and pick my information. Okay. So we are going to flip over and show you my page that I'm working on to write my report. Okay. It would be easier if I were on that page. There we go. Okay. So I know that my topic sentence, this one, is going to have to do with habitat. Okay. All right, it's going to go ABC rather than 1, 2, 3. All right. So if we went with the first sentence, or the first sentence in paragraph 2 in book A, Usually whooping cranes migrate to find a habitat that is swampy or marshy. So what 3 keywords would I pick from there? I'm going to pick migrate, swampy, and marshy. Okay. Next, let's see. They summer in Canada. That's kind of a brief set of keywords, right? And let's see. Where do they winter? They winter in Texas, and that is 4,000 kilometers away. All right. Then, I think I'm going to go to C, and I'm going to get some information from there, because I still have 2 more sentences that I would like to fill in before I switch over, or before I start looking for a clincher sentence. Okay. So let's see. So in the swampy regions, they search for small juicy plants and insects, frogs and worms. Ugh, they've got such a fun diet. So they like juicy plants, frogs, and interestingly enough, Mr. Pudawa used these 3 symbols to show a worm. Instead of drawing, that's what he did. So juicy plants, frogs, and worms are what they like to eat there. Now, do you guys like to put interesting facts in your information? Kind of helps the reader, right? Do you remember any interesting facts from that paragraph in C about the whoopers and their diet? It says in here, unbelievably, one whooper ate 800 grasshoppers in 75 minutes. Wow. So I am going to use 800 grasshoppers. And I see that I spelled grasshopper incorrectly, so I'm right-clicking and selecting that. In 75 minutes. I'm going to say 8 up here. All right, there you go. Now I'm going to need a clincher sentence. Okay. And that could be something about maybe how their food supply is tied to the wetlands or something like that. But I do know that it is going to repeat or reflect whatever I have up in that paragraph, or up in that sentence. My apologies. Okay. So these 2 are going to repeat or reflect. All right. And that's not actually a Roman numeral. There we go. All right. So that's my first paragraph. On whooping cranes, let's go ahead and switch over so I can see you again. Okay. So that is kind of how we get started on the reports using this style in IEW. What I would like you to do for your assignment is go ahead and pick another topic from our list. Okay, I've really just given you a keyword outline on habitats. Okay, I'd like you to pick another topic from this list and create a keyword outline for it. Okay, so you're doing 2 keyword outlines, one on habitat and one on another topic. And then you're going to do 2 rough draft paragraphs, one for each keyword outline. Okay? We don't need to do finals this week or anything like that. I just want you to practice pulling the information out of the 2 paragraphs. Okay? Now, some of you might say, well, Mrs. Crom, there's 6 sentences in both of those paragraphs, and you are only listing 5 sentences. You're right. You get to pick and choose what information you're using. You don't have to use all of it. You get to pick what you want to include in your report. You need to have at least 5 sentences, not including your topic and your clincher. So when you add in the topic and clincher, how many sentences do we have? 5 sentences plus a topic plus a clincher equals 7 sentences. Okay? That's going to give you more than enough room for your dress ups and your sentence openers and all that kind of thing. All right? Are you going to have questions? Yeah, you totally are. Watch this again. Okay? Have your parent or helper watch it with you. Okay? Email me, call me with questions. Thank you.